Hey, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Have you ever wondered why people's financial behavior are so bad? I mean, just think about that for a second. I might not be even be talking about you. Maybe it's a family member. But have you ever wondered why are people's financial behaviors so bad? That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get started. So here's our agenda. We're going to talk about the lack of financial education. We're going to talk about the behavioral biases, the socio-economic factors. We're going to talk about culture and social influences, psychological factors. And then we're going to talk about these advertising. We're going to talk about the lack of access to financial services, financial crisis, and unexpected events, and the over-reliance on credit. So without further ado, let's go. So when you look at this introduction, when we talk about financial behavior, what are we really talking about? What we're really talking about is that it varies from person to person. There's no set rule. But what we do know is financial behavior is influenced by a combination of psychological, cultural, social, or economic factors. And here are some of the common factors that we're going to discuss. A lack of financial education. We know that in our school systems, they don't teach financial education. And one of the things is because it's not taught, what happens is people lack the proper knowledge and people struggle to navigate the complex financial system. When I was younger in the Marine Corps, um, I had to have one of my gunnies, who was my boss, essentially walk me down to the local bank, um, and have me set up my own checking account because I had never done it. My parents had never taught me how to do it. So what we have a failure in our school systems to teach financial education. But as the financial first responder, I plan on stopping that. We're going to help as many Americans and people get their finances together. Now, when we talk about behavioral biases, what are we really talking about? It's how you're influenced. It's your cognitive bias. It's that impulsive shopping, that overconfidence, and it's your present bias. So what are we saying here? What we are saying is that because you make bad financial decisions, such as overspending, neglecting to save, and you make impulsive investments or what you think are investments, but they're usually not investments. They're usually things that drain your discretionary income. These are the things that are killing most of you because of your behavioral biases. Your social economic factors. Yeah, we see people on Instagram and we see them, they flossing, they got the Rollie on and they in the Bugatti or the Maybach or they in some of these. Hey, I hate to tell you this, but a lot of these people who are flossing like this, they're renting those vehicles, or they might even be renting the jewelry. So what we need to look at is that we need to look at all of our economic circumstances, right? So that includes your income level, your job security, your access to resources, and then you need to look at how it impacts your financial behavior. Because here's the thing: there used to be a saying, "Stay in school, be cool." Um, I don't think kids really realize at this point why they should be focusing on getting the best education they can get. Now, I'm not saying that they got to go to college. Don't get me wrong, okay? Because everybody is not meant to go to college. There are a lot of people that I met in the military that they didn't go to college until after they got out of the military, because they figured out that they had to go on with the rest of their life and they needed an education. Then there's some who got their education while they were in the military, like me. Um, Both my parents have PhDs, and I didn't want one And I had no plan when I first started out of high school. I just thought I would go to college. I didn't think about how I was going to pay for it. I didn't think about any of that. So your social economic factors play a big role in your behaviors of how you spend and use money. Basically, you watch your parents and you do similar or worse than what your parents did. Cultural or social influences. Now, we talked about that a little bit in the last slide. It's the norms that play a role in shaping our financial behavior. It's that peer pressure. You know, when I was in college, I was fortunate enough to have a decent job as well as a car. There was a lot of people that were in college that didn't have a car. As far as expectations of society, you know, I got my license when I was 16. It was one of those things where it was like a badge of honor to have a driver's license and be 16. Nowadays, kids are getting older and they use public transportation or they nag their parents to take them everywhere. But the cultural attitudes about money and spending habits and saving and investment choices really come from who you're around and who raised you, your environment. Now let's talk about these psychological factors. What do we mean by psychological factors, Mike? Well, it's your individual attitude towards risk, fear, and financial loss. And emotional reactions to money matters can affect your financial behavior. In other words, some of you are stressed out, got anxiety about money because you don't know how it works. And then some of you are impulsive in your decision making process when it comes to money. You avoid getting financial planning and you don't want to sit down and get any financial advice. The only time we see people come to us is one of two things. Either they were recommended by a client, either they were told they needed to go, or either they figured out they're tired of bumping their head and now they need some help. Advertising and consumerism. So wait a minute, Mike, what do you mean by that? Y'all been bamboozled, you've been advertised to. I'm getting ready to tell you right now. Next weekend when the Super Bowl comes on, there are gonna be so many ads and ooh wee and ooh look what this ad did and ooh wee and what about that? And it was funny. All those ads are to get your money. Clear and simple. So understand that when you're looking at advertisement, or if you're looking at regular TV, I shouldn't say advertisement because some programs you pay for you don't have to have advertisements. But let's say that you have regular TV, okay? You're going to see in an hour program, you're probably going to see probably 30 minutes of ads in an hour program. And a lot of times people don't think about that. So I'm going to challenge you right quick. Watch your favorite sitcom or your show or whatever it is. And every time an ad comes on, I want you to do push-ups until all the ads are off and your show comes back on. I guarantee you, if you do that for 1 week, or if you did it for 1 day, you'll probably be a lot stronger than what you think you are. Because ads come on every so often in between your shows. Beware of the ads. Lack of access to financial services. Now, why would I say that? We're in America, right, Mike? Yeah, we're in America, but there's still people who lack one of these, right? One of these cell phones that's really like your bank now, to actually do digital banking. The days are about to leave where you walk into a bank, cash a check, and that's it. Everything is going digital very soon. So you're either going to catch up or you're going to get caught up. So it says here that some individuals, especially the underserved communities, may face barriers to access traditional financial services. This can limit their ability to build credit, save, and invest in ways that contribute to the financial stability. Now, one of the things I've seen happen is in the Hispanic community, they don't really trust banks, and so they keep a lot of cash on them. And unfortunately, we've seen people get robbed and murdered because they had cash on them, because they didn't trust the banking system, and B, they didn't understand about savings or checking, because maybe in their country, everybody was crooks, or at least they thought they were. Not saying that they are. And then when you talk about underserved, you talk about communities where individuals um, who may not have, like I told you, both my parents were college educated, but they didn't talk to me about money. We just didn't talk about money around the kitchen table. I didn't ask them how much they make. They didn't talk about the bills. They didn't do any of that. All I remember is money don't grow on trees. Actually, it does. What is paper? Trees. So, thinking about that, I want you to think about your access to financial services. You need to get with somebody, a financial first responder like me, a financial planner, um, and sit down and do a financial plan. I wish there was some way I could help you, um, and I can. Just email me. Financial crisis and unexpected events. Man, did we go through a financial crisis in the last 3, 4 years? We had the pandemic, right? A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people couldn't work because they were sick. Um, they had medical emergencies, job loss, and then companies were not financially stable to send you a check because you weren't working producing. So this sudden crisis, basically, what we're trying to say is that some people got into debt over the pandemic because that was the only way for them to survive, right? So I want you to think about not if, but when. There's another financial crisis coming. And if you don't think so, just sit around and wait. I am 53 years young, and I've been around the sun at least 53 times. And because it takes one whole year to go around the sun, okay? For you people that are not science based, okay? So I want you to think about, there are always financial crises. You look at any decade, and there's been financial crises in those decades. Okay, just go back in history and look. Over reliance on credit. Say it ain't so. Now I know there's a bunch of people out there that preach don't get credit, but don't get bad credit. Get good credit. What does that mean? If you're starting a business, get credit to start the business. Use other people's money to grow your business. Now, the other problem that I see is that a lot of you will go and run the bag up, doing this, doing that, and then you can't pay it back. And what does that do? That lowers your credit rating. Okay. So a financial hack for you would be, maybe you spend less than 30%, actually, I would say 25% on your credit cards at any given time, and pay it off monthly. That is a great way for you to keep your credit score up and not be reliant on credit. Now, you may say, Mike, you crazy. I'm going to use my credit card because I get points and I get all that. Well, that's fine. You can. Just understand that you will need to pay it off at some point. Credit's not free. So, in summary, this is what we talked about today. It's important to approach discussions about financial behavior with empathy and recognize that individual circumstances vary. Financial literacy initiatives, improved access to education, and address systematic issues can help empower individuals like you and me to make better financial decisions. Now, I'm only telling you this because I want you to do the best that you can possibly do, which is get with a financial advisor, financial planner, someone that can give you information, and let's make some changes. Now, I need you to like and subscribe this channel. If you need to find me or get in touch with me, reach out to Mike at thefinancialfirstresponder.com. Or if you want to join my tribe, the Financial Warrior Tribe, just hit the Kajabi link and become a member of the tribe. And I got a little special gift for you if you sign up um, and join the tribe. Until we talk again, God bless.